Dear Familienhaus friends, nice to see you, and we're happy to have you, at least digitally here. In many families it's normal by now to have multilingualism. Maybe the language you grew up with, dear parents, is a different one than German. Maybe it's Arabic, English, Russian or Persian, while you learned German just a few years ago. Multilingualism is something very, very beautiful. It's wonderful if you can teach your children more than one language. For this reason, today's topic is bilingualism. So how can you motivate your children to speak a second language, and what should you keep in mind, and how to incorporate the second language in your daily routine? How can you support your children in learning German, and isn't it hard to learn two languages simultaneously? All of these will be our topic today. Learning languages is, the older we get, not that easy. Experts say learning a language is a natural talent, but it's a given that kids have it easier to learn a new language. It doesn't matter if they learn or use one and then the other one, or both simultaneously. The younger they are, the easier they have it to learn another language. We distinguish two languages, the native language and the language of environment. The native language is the one we know since we are little. The language of environment is the language spoken in our daily routine and used in conversations with others. It is important that your children get your support and in learning a language from the beginning. Fuel their interest in speaking and be a good role model for your kids. It will be good if you speak to your children in the language you are feeling the most comfortable in. This will be most likely your native language. In this language you know most of the words and you know how to build sentences and make them work. In this language you can comfort your child the best, calm them or tell them how much you love them. Your child will need these linguistic fundamentals from their native language to learn others as well. If you're speaking a different language than German at home, bring your kids to kindergarten. It is very important. They will learn German in a natural environment, and they can learn the specifics of the language and sentence structures intuitively while they play and talk with other children and their teachers. Furthermore, you can support your children in learning a second language and giving them opportunities to speak that language in their free time. Let your children play and talk with other kids from the playground, maintain contacts with friends outside of kindergarten and school, and maybe sign your child up for a club or association. At home, you still should use your native language. It is encouraged to do it simultaneously. If you're speaking more than one language at home, it is useful to set up rules for the language usage. Do you speak two different languages as parents? It is good for your children if you connect languages to a certain person or situation. So your children will know that you connect these ones and they have to talk in with maybe German with their mom and Arabic with their dad. Or they will know that Persian will be the language of gaming evenings, but when they're doing homework, it's German. This way your kids will get a better understanding and knowledge of both languages. Please refrain from using different languages at your own will. This might be too confusing. Especially if your children go to school already, it may happen that they only speak the language of the environment, in German in our case. It happens that because they spend a big part of their time with this language. So please keep talking in your native language at home, because even listening will help them development in their languages. Don't be mad if they answer you in another language or mix up their languages at all. This is normal and will go away soon. Dear parents, make sure to tell your kids that every language they speak is valuable and beautiful and that you love them in every language. It also happens that your children speak two languages, but only a few words in shorter sentences or fewer words than other children in their age. This isn't unusual, and it will go away with going to school. If you have the feeling, dear parents, that your child have a problem with speaking, please talk with a pediatrician. There are lots of possibilities in supporting your children before they go to elementary school. This way or another, in a family, it should be important to fuel the desire to speak. Please stay in contact with your kids. Tell them that you did what you did at work. Let them talk about their day too and listen to them carefully. Don't correct your kids at all the time if they make mistakes or speak in the wrong language or use self-created words. This is what brings fun to children and just shows their progress in language development. Correcting your children all the time might lead to disencouragement, and they might stop talking to you or in that language at all. So, dear parents, maybe look for fun ways to incorporate the language in your daily routine, depending on the age of your children. You may want to look for picture books and talk about what you see. Reading stories to them is also a great way. You can find inspiration in your city library, and they have the huge section of multilingual books which can be lent for an affordable price. Children up to an age of 10 can lend books for free. Children above 11 have to pay a fee of €5 a year, and adults pay 10. If you own an Otto City card, you can get a discount and only pay €5 for an annual membership. Currently, the library in the city center has changed business hours, so there's a construction site at the moment. After getting an appointment, you can pick up your books you're interested in from there. Also, the other libraries can be used for lending books after making an appointment. For example, you could borrow the good night story Schlaf gut, kleiner Wolf, and read it to your children. The book was printed in different languages and hopefully will help them go to sleep too. Over the day, it might be a good idea, dear parents, if you think of stories with your kids together. This support in their language development, and it helps them to get a hang of different languages. Songs, rhymes usually help with getting into a language too. You could maybe tell them about songs and stories you heard or know from your childhood. For babies and toddlers, hand and finger plays might be an exciting start into a language. You can tell a short story or a rhyme and use your hands and fingers to create small figures or images for the story. Also, games like I Spy with My Little Eye are perfect to get into a language too. Your child would choose a thing or an item in the room and say, I spy with my little eye, and then they describe the color or maybe later the shape, and everyone has to guess which item they meant. For older kids that already know the alphabet, you can also play letter games. Construct sentences where all the words start with the same letter, or play categories. For every category, like city, river, country, has to be a word with a fitting letter. Next to the language development support, the game also helps with concentration and speed. It is fun for the whole family, regardless of being played in your native language or the language of environment. We wish you many wonderful talks with your family, and we hope that there was maybe 1 or 2 useful tips for you. Please don't forget, every language is beautiful.